Hi, today I want to talk about intelligent AI. Okay, and which just sounds like it's supposed to be AI is supposed to be intelligent, but in reality, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to explain why it's not. But what I want to talk today is how we can create an intelligent AI. So first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Okay, I said that AI is not intelligent. It's not intelligent in the sense that we are. Okay, so we use principles and logic to achieve to a conclusion. Okay, so that process that can be even not a perfect process is come from our intelligence. Okay, AI doesn't do this. What it does is predict the next token. So we give a prompt, and then the next token means that basically, to simplify, is the next word, the next most probable word connected to the prompt you created. So in the field of probability that has the AI, what you create is a prompt that gives like a virtual reality where the AI can look for the probabilities. Okay, so that reality is where the intelligence can happen, and that can happen if we create a prompt that somehow force the AI to do some specific moves. But this is, again, an intelligent prompt to make AI simulate an intelligent path, which still is like a prediction of the next most likely word, but within a defined space. So in that space, what we are trying to do is to create intelligence. What I've created myself, and can be downloaded in the description. There is the link. So I created an operation system that run on top of this LLM. This operation system, what it does, it creates this virtual world, but with a series of principles that force the AI to do some logical steps. By doing these logical steps, then it can also explain what logic has used to get to the result. And this in somehow changed a lot of the quality of the output. First of all, like I said, you can ask, tell me how did you reach this conclusion, and it's gonna say, I followed this principle, these are the principle, these are the stuff, and I got there. Okay, so by creating these elements, you can force in somehow to think in a logical way, but also by removing some elements that are there by default, which is those try to always try to agree with you. Okay, so this tendency to agree means that they cannot be honest. And so every time that you see the AI is agreeing with you, you're a great idea, you're right, and so on, you need to probably understand that that AI didn't see to the problem in a logical way. It just went into default of be this useful AI that try to agree with everybody. Okay, so every time that you have that one is a signal that something is not working, and unfortunately I have to say that is most of the time, that is the default. Okay, most of the time, as soon as you push AI one side, it's gonna say, sorry, you're right, this is the right things to do. Yes, sorry, I didn't consider this, you're right. So as soon as you start pushing AI, it's gonna always change idea, unless you give those principles that need to be followed to reach the idea. And then it's going to defend those principles, because it's going to say, no, this is the right thing because I follow this principle, this and this other, and that is the answer. Okay, and that is the force. I mean, it's not force, it's like allowing to go through a path of intelligence. Now, the drama, okay, because there is always a drama here. So the drama is that I build this AI that follow this logic, and then more you work on it, the more you realize, okay, but then it needs these other elements. Then it needs to consider this aspect. In this scenario, there's this principle that is needed. In this other scenario, there's another principle. So even though I'm not building rules, because rules would cage the AI to behave in a certain way, which would be too rigid to then be used in another scenario. What I do, I create a principle of behavior, and it's incredible the amount of principle that are needed to actually be honest, think logically, and try not to be biased, and try not to please to please me with say I'm amazing thinker, and so basically to make it just function as an honest, true partner in exchanging idea and challenging each other ideas is a lot of work, and it's a lot of work because it's the corporation that built this AI. They embedded those in the system. They embedded a system that is gonna simulate to have empathy, to simulate to be super agreeable with you. Okay, and those are like fake things that present to you that stop the AI to be honest, to be true, to tell you something that makes sense. It's just a lot of layers of fake, agreeable and empathy stuff. And so the problem that we have, that it's difficult to make an AI work in an intelligent way, is first of all, it's connected to those layers that stop AI to be honest. Second is the amount of principle needed to create a logical being, or it's not even just about being logic. My tendency is like to build something that is more rational. Okay, because I'm the irrational. I need a partner that is rational. Okay, to balance it up. So my intent is to try to build something rational. But that is not, doesn't mean that is to be the goal for everybody. Okay, but to me it means, okay, I want a partner that helps me to analyze, to give me more awareness, to be more critical, and help me think through and turn my ideas into something more constructed. Okay, so that logical aspect is something that I'm looking for. But to build that one, and I think it's the same to build something else, is the challenge is that you need a lot of elements to hold this thinking process together, and therefore the difficult now is, okay, how do we do it? Okay, I built this, and like I said, you can download it. It's a DIY system. Okay, it's not like a finished product. It's not like ready to sell. It's free. Download. You customize your AI with that system, and you have a starting point for you to customize. Okay, and so what I'm saying is, first of all, we need to understand when we customize at one point, we need to accept that is the limit of today. Okay, for one single AI to process. Okay, now the next step would be, okay, but what about if I use multiple AI? So I give to this AI different functions, and therefore none of them reach the limit of going in hallucination or not be able to follow all the principles. So it's something that I want to try. It's unclear how to do it because there are different strategies, and but one of the strategy can be, okay, I have a first AI that is gonna interact with me and try to architect this world, then create this architecting world. Basically, it's a more sophisticated prompt that is gonna basically give a prompt, the AI turn that prompt in a more sophisticated prompt, and then that prompt is given to another AI that is gonna orchestrate the intelligence, okay, by creating sub prompts out of the main prompts to different kind of AI agents. One is logician, the oracle, the I call one like the punk, the one that look after the ethics, and the one that look after the awareness. Okay, all of them do their work, then come back together and give the whole package to another AI that is the truth seeker. So trying to get all this information and say, okay, out of this new knowledge that I have, and from the original prompt, this is the answer, okay, which is trying to be true without this idea of making the user happy. Okay, it's just gonna say this is the answer, the raw, the brutally honest answer. So and then it's and the answer is given to the main agent at the beginning, that then can interact with the AI, create with the user. When the user give a feedback what he has, then he has all the information to create an even more clear reality where the answer can be achieved. Okay, and that is the loop we can create. Pretty complex. Okay, probably it's gonna work. This is I believe it's gonna work. That's what I'm gonna build. But this is one system. Another thing that can be done is kind of filtering down. Okay, because for example, the first AI can check for the macro principles. Is this following the macro principles? Yes or no? Okay, then if it doesn't, means there is a problem already. But the point here is a macro principle, and then divided to maybe either agents that look into minor principles. I mean all the principle inside the macro principle. Okay, and check if the output, the reality that we're building, is in line with all those principles. This one, I think, as a different model, is something, again, it could work, but maybe it's much harder to control, because things get divided in a way that us as a human maybe struggle to fully understand. So it's let's call it a B plan, or maybe it's something that can be implemented in the agent. Okay, one of the agent could work through this kind of dynamics. So here where we are today, in trying to create intelligence in a system that basically is not intelligent, and that is the challenge. That is the challenge. So what I'm doing, this is the research I'm running. And if you're doing similar research, please comment below, tell me what you find out, tell me if you're trying the toolkit in the description, if works, how you're customizing it. We're trying to do, I'm operating in the open. Okay, so there is a blog where you can read all the stuff that I'm doing, all the research and so on. There is the GitHub where the code is also can be found, together with the toolkit and so on. A website that is specialized on this ResonantOS, that is the operation system that I'm building. Everything is open source, and it's there for us to try and experiment. What I'd really like to do is to build like a community of like-minded people, of explorers, of pioneers that are looking to develop a true intelligence. So we have those tools out there. There's a lot of open source, but for example, this one that I'm building is on top of Gemini at the moment. So there are a lot of tools we have available. One of the steps that I want to do is to try to fine-tune those AIs, those large language model, so I can have maybe a smaller model that is fine-tuned to just be logic, another that can be just fine-tuned to be the awareness agent. So it's, if there are a lot of things to do, and I'm gonna do it, okay, would be nice if there are other people participating and sharing ideas, and see if we can go faster. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you next time.